Thank you for tuning in to the Healed Girl Era podcast with me, your host, T. I want to welcome you to a space where we encourage open and realistic conversations about the process of healing. This podcast aims to evoke a fresh perspective that opens the door to embracing growth and acceptance. I want you to feel safe enough to let go of the traumas of your past, embrace the newness of the day. Join us as we explore the journey of healing and self-discovery. If you've not done so, consider following me on social media at MsLadyT_ on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to my YouTube page. Now go ahead and listen to the newest episode of the Healed Girl Era podcast. What's up, you guys? I am so excited to bring you this episode of the podcast. This is something that I have been thinking about, struggling with, grappling with, all of the things for decades. Do you hear me? And it's something that has really caused me to live kind of a stagnated existence, like that start and stop, feeling like you're hitting, a ceiling that you can't get through, that you're trying to, really break through the firmament, right? Like we've been trying to do for all of our lives. And it just put me on kind of a trajectory that I didn't want to be on, right? It just had me so anxious and trying to figure it out. And I had this revelation, but I want to start from the beginning so that it makes sense to you. And hopefully the things that we talk about today will spark something in you and answer some questions that maybe you had along your life's journey. And that's what I'm trying to do with this podcast, is to the things that I've, struggled with and, really felt like there was some resistance with in my life, to hopefully help you on your journey so that it is such much more of a smooth ride than mine has been. So, first off, has anyone ever said to you that you need to find your purpose in life? Have you ever heard someone say that to you? Or once you find your purpose, that everything will kind of fall into place, right? So I heard that really early on in life. Don't remember the first time that, that was mentioned to me, or I heard it in passing, or whatever the case may be. But I just remember that somehow being ingrained in me and embedded in somewhere in my thought process, that, oh, I have to find my purpose, right? That there is one thing in this world that I'm supposed to be doing. And once I figure that out, everything will be smooth sailing. So, if you're anything like me, if you heard those words, it was kind of like a hot dagger through my heart, because I was waiting for some sort of like divine revelation, right? For someone to speak to me and tell me what that thing was that I was supposed to be doing in the world. The reason why I'm here. What am I supposed to be doing? Because I was kind of sick of being unhappy and feeling like I was just wandering aimlessly through the world, right? So I was like, okay, I have to find my purpose. And when I find it, then it's going to get good, right? Not that I hadn't experienced good up until then, but, I felt like, because what I was hearing was, purpose is what really, puts your life on the path that you're supposed to be on. So that's what I wanted to find. Um, and I wanted to find out and complete whatever assignment, right? With quotation marks, air quotes, that assignment that I was supposed to do, so that I could please my creator. And just saying that actually brings up so much anxiety and pressure for me, because it's like one thing that you're supposed to be doing. So that question really plagued me for decades. And when I say decades, I mean decades. It really did plague me, because I had the idea for some reason that if I didn't do this exact one thing, right, my purpose, that I would never obtain the peace and the joy that I so desperately desired. And I went from, like, should I be a teacher early on? Like when I was younger, I was like, oh, I want to be a teacher. And I was like, oh no, maybe that's not my purpose, right? Oh, so now I want to be a therapist. Oh yeah, a therapist. That's what I want to do. So, well, maybe that might not be my purpose. And I was waiting for other people to validate these things. So, I would mention, oh, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to be a teacher. And then you kind of wait, like, oh yeah, I think that would be perfect. I was looking for this validation from the heavens to open up and say, yes, that is it. That is your purpose. And it never happened. So, like I said, I went from wanting to be a teacher, and then, know a therapist, know a writer, know a nurse, know an entrepreneur. And like I said, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. And I'm waiting for someone to confirm, like, okay, yes, that's it. That heavens opened up, and, God is going to say, my child, I created you for this. That is it. And like I said, it never happened. And the reason that it never happened was that's not the way it works. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that because I had heard stories. You watch TV, or you hear, these stories of people who, they became a doctor, and the reason they became a doctor is because they had this, this aha moment, this experience, this thing that said, yes, this is what you're supposed to do. So I thought everybody would have that, right? That somehow you would get this confirmation in your bones, this audible voice would speak to you and tell you what it was that you were supposed to be doing, because those are like kind of the stories that I had heard, watching TV, and, um, you know, just hearing other people's stories. I thought that that was going to be the way that it worked for me. And it really kind of caused me so much anxiety. I wish that I could express to you how much anxiety I felt while I was waiting for this confirmation and trying to figure out my purpose in the world. And then this whole book came out later on when I was in my 20s, I think, and it was The Purpose Driven Life. And I never read it because the book even caused me anxiety, because I felt like, well, I don't know my purpose, right? So maybe I'm not purpose driven. You know what I mean? I haven't got that audible voice, that thing to confirm. So it was just so much pressure and so much anxiety because I wanted to get it right. I'm a person that whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing right, that, I just want to get it right in this lifetime. That's just how I'm wired, and I don't know why, but I want to get it right in this lifetime. And because that's what I was told, you have to do this one thing. And if you don't do that one thing, that you're not going to feel, contentment and joy, and, all of the things. So I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm not hearing anything. So after, years of really beating myself up because I couldn't figure it out, I took the opportunities that I was giving myself. Like I would, take time and just kind of listening, you know what I mean? Like waiting for that voice. I took those opportunities to actually just quiet myself, over the years, and quiet my mind. And I, over time, it took a while, because I wanted it so bad, I desired it so much, that I felt like, I just wasn't doing what was necessary to get the answers that I needed. But so I was able to quiet my mind, and I came up and got the simplest revelation for me. It was the simplest revelation for me, and it broke the anxiety, um, and it broke the pressure that I was feeling. And I'm going to share that with you. And hopefully, this will be something that is like an aha moment for you as well, and that it would shift your trajectory and to help you obtain the truth of who you are and why you exist. Because the pressure that I was feeling and the anxiety that I was feeling was that I would never potentially please God, and that I would never find contentment in knowing why I was here. But okay, so the light bulb went off. I got that aha, Oprah moment that they talk about, and it led me to this truth. I am the purpose, right? I am here in this existence, in this world, because I'm a light and I exude love. I believe that my presence is necessary. We talk about having a tribe, right? And I think that is such an eloquent way of just, giving a title to our people. I say that all the time, like, you're my person, you're my person. In my tribe, I believe, and I said this before in a previous show, I believe that um, we have a group of people that are assigned to us over our life, right? And you may call them a tribe, I may call them, whatever, but I believe there's just a group of people that's ordained to you, and that you are going to meet these people along the way, and they're going to be present in your world. And I believe that I exist for that reason, right? That I can complete the tribe that belongs to me, and that if I didn't exist, my children wouldn't be here, right? My children needed a mother, my parents needed a daughter, the roads that I traveled on needed a traveler, and the way that I decide to show up and whatever I make, whatever choices I make, and how I want to contribute to this world while I'm here is exactly what I am supposed to be doing. And that is my purpose. There's not just one thing that I'm supposed to be doing, right? Because I'm created in God's image. I am God-like, so I am a creator. I am the wave. And once I figured that out, right? Once I figured out that I am purposeful, that is not the one thing that I need to be doing, that, it just became so clear and evident to me. And it really freed me up to think outside the box and to really explore my talents and my passions, and to try and to fail and to succeed in everything, right? And now I'm making my mark, and I'm breathing, so that my life is not just wasted with trying to figure it out, and doing this one thing, and being this exact thing, but just being, and being an active participant in what life, because life is living. My purpose is to live, and to live out loud, and to be unapologetic, and be authentic, and be true. I'm here to live. That's my purpose. To laugh, to love, to contribute, to evolve, to grow, to learn, to surrender, to accept, to fail, to be great. That is my purpose. And whatever career path that I choose along the way, that's fine. But there's not one thing. And I've worked, right? I've had job after job after job. But once I found out that, hey, you're not pigeonholed to just doing one thing and being this one, thing, that I can really just rest in knowing that whatever it is that I want to do, whatever I choose to do, that I am going to make a mark, because it's already promised to me that I'm going to be successful, right? That everything that I put my hands to do is going to prosper, right? And if I fail at it, right, if it doesn't become this huge sensation or success, or doesn't go viral, or whatever, people desire these days, that it doesn't mean that it wasn't purposeful, that it didn't help someone, that it didn't add value to the world, or to the people in the world, or the people in my tribe, right? That it didn't cause some sort of effect. I want to affect the world in the best way possible. And that's my purpose. So if I decide now at my big age to be a teacher, guess what? That's my purpose for that hour and for that season. If I decide that I want to be a nurse, that is my purpose for that hour and that season. And when I do it, the people that I'm supposed to help and aid, and the knowledge that I'm gained from doing that thing, and the evolution process of it all, that it was all purposeful for me and for me to get to the place that I need to be before it all ends, because this life is temporary. And because it's temporary, we don't want to spend time figuring it out, but actually doing it. Do that thing, whatever that thing is. You're waiting for confirmation to do a thing. This is the confirmation. Do it, whatever it is. If you want to start a business, start a business. If you want to go back to school, go back to school. If you want to travel, travel. If you want to learn a new language, learn a new language. It is all purposeful for your existence. It is all getting you to the place where you are growing, evolving, and learning and living. That is your purpose. So if you're not living, right? If you're just waiting, and so many of us are in a waiting period, especially as women. We're waiting on a husband. We're waiting on a spouse. We're waiting on this. We're waiting on to lose weight before we start dressing the way we want to dress. We're waiting for all of this stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I can't wait till this happens because then I'm going to do this. You're putting yourself in a holding pattern as if we have time. Time is not on our side. It's ticking every second. Tick, 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 tick. So we don't have the time to be complacent and wait. Take yourself out of the holding period. Take yourself out of the waiting room and put yourself into living. I believe there's someone right now that's listening to this show, or maybe that you're listening and you know someone has been waiting for this one thing, and they're waiting for the confirmation of it, or they're waiting for someone to give them approval, or they're waiting for someone to give them funding, or they're waiting for the wait is over. Your purpose in this world is to live, to thrive, to grow, to do whatever it is that your heart desires. Find your passions and follow them. Free yourself in the bondage that there's only one thing. We are multifaceted, right? We can do whatever. Women, we have the capacity to take on multiple roles. We know that we can be mothers, we can be business women, we can be all of the things all at once, right? How many of us as women and mothers have, gone to the grocery store and there's no one to help us bring the groceries in, and we can carry 25 bags, one on our hand, between our fingers, between our teeth, on top of our head, and then the kids or the husband say, "How did you bring all those groceries in by yourself?" I figure it out. And that's what you can do. Whatever it is that you desire, whatever it is that you've been waiting for, that is your purpose. Do it today. Make the decision. I'm not going to wait any longer. I'm not going to wait for the heavens to open up and tell me that this one thing is okay. That, okay, yes, you should be a singer, which I'm not, because you hear that right now. Or you should be a whatever. Do it. And I believe that that's the greatest teacher. You know what I'm saying? I learn and determine what I can do by trying to see if I can do it. Some people may feel in my life I've done so much, right? I've written books, and I've done speaking engagements and been a motivational speaker, and I've done this, that, and the other. And some people may think that I'm just all over the place, but guess what? If I decide, you know what? This is what I want to do. Then I'm going to do it. And you don't have to like it. But it's bringing value to me. And I've gotten word and testimony and all of these, great things like, oh, when you said this, or I saw you here, or you said, I read your book, or whatever the case may be. So I know that it's adding value to people's lives, which means it was purposeful. You are the purpose. Your existence is necessary in this world. You're here because there's a tribe that is ordained to you. You're here because your children needed a mom, because your neighbor needed a friend, right? You are here for a purpose and a reason, and you, in your magnificence, are the purpose. Do it all. Don't let anyone tell you that it's one thing that God wants you to do. He created you just for this one thing. God is not that limiting. He's not. He doesn't limit us to just one thing. We're beings of light, and light shines all over. It's very hard to really put light in a box and only shine here, only here. You better not get out of this box. Light shines, and that's what you're here for. That's all. That's what I wanted to share with you all today. So I want to leave you with the affirmation of the day. And that is, I am aligned with my highest potential, and I am purposeful. Thank you for tuning in to the Heal Girl Era podcast. I am your host, T, and we'll talk soon.